Hi guys! In this video, you are going to learn about non-defining clauses. First of all, I should remind you, if you have some problems while making sentences in defining clauses and relative clauses, you should firstly learn relative clauses and defining parts, and then you should watch this video, because non-defining clauses are used to give only extra information. In order to make some defining clauses, in order to describe some people or some items or some objects, we don't prefer non-defining clauses. Non-defining clauses are a kind of sentences that give extra information and they enrich our sentences. They give extra knowledge and information about some other people, some other objects, or the thing that we want to mention. That's why they are maybe extra clauses. That's why it is not a kind of some grammatical structural sentence. In this part, I'm going to show you why we use non-defining clauses. And in order to learn, first of all, what is defining and non-defining part, we should remember the usage of defining part. As you can remember from your previous information and knowledge, we have somebody or some object, a noun, and while making defining clause, we give his or her or its special feature and any characteristics or any kind of maybe a special information about this item, and other people, in this way, other people can understand what I am talking about. Let's see with an example. For example, I have a friend. So when I say I have a friend, you don't understand which friend I'm talking about, I'm writing about, or I'm giving information. So this person needs to be defined, needs to be differentiated, and needs to be described. So in defining part, we put who or that, and I'm giving information to describe this part. I have a friend who is a journalist. This is a kind of defining information about this guy. So in these defining clauses, we never use comma, but sometimes we give name directly, so we don't say a friend, a person, or an object. So in that case, this person becomes a special person. So, or this item becomes a special item. And in that point, we don't need to define, need to give information. Because when I say its name, you clearly understand what am I talking about. Let's see. For example, your friend's name is Ali. So you can say, my friend Ali. And after Ali, you put a comma and you give some information about this guy, like who is a journalist. And after giving this information, you put another comma in order to close your sentence, a positive phrase, my friend Ali is your subject. And this part is an extra information part, but still we need a verb. So let's complete our sentence. My friend Ali, who is a journalist, lives my next door. In this part, you understand when I say Ali, I give him a name. So in that situation, you don't want to hear, or you don't want to see, or you don't need which friends you are talking about, because I'm clearly telling that it is Ali. So my friend Ali, after Ali, you should put comma in order to make relative clause. But this relative clause shouldn't be defining clause. It should be non-defining clause, because you are not defining him. You are just giving information about, extra information about this guy. Let's see with another example. For example, you have sisters, and I know you have maybe more than one sister and 3 or 4 sisters, and you say, my sister, who is a journalist, lives in London. When you make a sentence in this way, I mean by using defining clause, my sister who is a journalist, it is a special feature of your sister, and I understand you have more than one sister and you want to explain which sister you are talking about. So when you say who is a journalist, I understand your journalist sister. That's why this is an adjective part, adjective clause. You give information about this sister, and then I understand which sister you are talking about. My sister who is a journalist lives in London. But if you use comma, I mean if you prefer non-defining clause, things are different. My sister who is a journalist. Put again. So between commas, you see who is a journalist, and let's continue. Lives in London. If you write your sentence in this way, I understand you have only one sister and you are not defining her. You just give extra information about her. And when you say, my sister lives in London, I can clearly understand, if I see this sentence between commas, you have only one sister, so you don't need to define her. I know you don't have any brother, you don't have any other sister, you have only one sister, so you don't need to tell again and again who is a journalist. If you tell me, my sister who is a journalist without comma, like in this way, I understand you have other sisters. So, in order to, so as to define somebody or something, we should choose defining clause. But if you want to give just extra information, in order not to make other sentences, for example, I can say also, my sister lives in London, she is a journalist, she is blah blah, so I can add some other sentences. But when I speak or when I write in this way, people think that I can make only simple sentences and very short sentences, maybe elementary sentences, but I don't want to make them very crowded, and I don't want them make them think that I don't know English. No, I know English and I can use non-defining clauses and in order to give extra information about something, about somebody, about some object. In English, while making your longer sentences, especially in written English, or while you read your maybe essays or some articles in a newspaper, you can clearly see people, when they want to mention something and they want to give you extra information, they all the time use this part, and this structure. That's why, in my opinion, non-defining clauses are really important to make your sentences longer and richer. In this way, you can enrich your English and you can prove that you know English better than others. Hope to see you in another lesson. That's all from me, and if you have more questions about non-defining clauses, of course, you can put your comments and then you can write or ask your sentences and questions. Have a nice day.